My name is Jessica Hall and I'm currently studying veterinary and physiotherapy at Writtle College. I've always been passionate about horses from a very young age, and I have been lucky enough to be the head girl at Moorcroft Racehorse Welfare Centre. It's from here where my passion for helping horses began. Although my passion is with horses, I've also worked at a kennels where I got to experience a range of different breeds, and my main job was to play with them. I've also helped out during lambing season at a local farm. One of the first tasks this year was to do an OPSI. This is a practical exam based on animal handling. This is an important foundation to learn of correct health and safety and professionalism while handling clients' pets. This is something I have mixed feelings about. This way of being assessed is very new to me and puts the candidate under a lot of pressure. I'm not very confident and know this is something I need to work towards. Therefore, the weeks coming up to the exam, I practice on friends and family's dogs. This was to help boost my confidence. This was an important task to take out, as practicing using working memory has been found to increase by training, and therefore practicing tasks repetitively can help memory of certain tasks. Luckily, this all paid off as I passed both my equine and canine OPSIs. The animal handling sessions was a real eye-opener for me. With a large experience in everyday handling of horses, this is something I'm very familiar with. However, I may be overconfident, whereas with the dogs I have less experience and was worried my nerves would get the best of me. One of the most interesting days this year was Internal Placement Day. This was such a good way to get us an insight to life as a veterinarian physiotherapist. This is extremely interesting and made me feel so excited about my future career. The day focused on being professional, taking effective notes and evaluating the patient. We each got to individually fill out reports on a horse and dog, and then we had a group discussion explaining everyone's findings. Therefore, we got to add in any additional information that I may have missed, which I find a great way to help me learn. One of the most daunting tasks for me was doing my first presentation of this year. For this task, we were put into groups and had to critically evaluate a journal and present our findings to the class. This is one of my least favourite tasks, as I can be very nervous when presenting. Our paper was on hip dysplasia in dogs, which at first I was quite worried about, as I don't have any background knowledge or experience of this condition. However, I decided it would be a great opportunity to learn as much as I can about hip dysplasia in dogs. After a lot of research, I managed to be able to go up and present in front of the class with no notes and confidently answer all questions. My voice was a bit shaky, but improved the more I talked. I was able to give eye contact to the audience and refer to the presentation. However, I was leaning and sitting at the side of the table to calm my nerves. This is not very professional, and therefore I need to make sure I'm standing upright, as this could give off an impression of laziness or disinterest in the subject. However, doing this presentation has given me more confidence, and I hope that my next presentation comes across clearer and more professional. When first starting this course, I could confidently name all the superficial muscles and major bony landmarks on the horse and dog. However, I came into the course very naive on the amount of work. I brought the Maggie Rayner anatomy colouring book and the equivalent one in the dog. During the first month, I used this revision tool to learn as many muscles as possible, testing myself, as testing has proven to retain long-term knowledge. I'm now starting to palpate horses where I work and friends and family horses, just to get a feel of different breeds and types. I know people who will also let me use their dogs for practicals. However, this is something I need to consider more so I can look and feel different breeds. I found the pathophysiology assignment very hard by adding in the correct scientific terminology to express the research in the appropriate academic style, as well as the structure due to the assignment being brief and not very detailed. This will allow you to choose how to write it, which has been highlighted as a common problem in science-based degrees. After changing my mind and structure a few times, I successfully wrote up the assignment in a scientific logical order. Grammar and overall sentence structure is something I struggle with, especially on a complicated subject. Even when I initially got frustrated due to the structure, I was inspired and motivated to carry on as I wanted to do my best. I found talking to other students really helpful, mainly because they also confirmed how they were struggling, as well as giving advice. I now feel I've learnt a lot from this assignment by persevering with it. However, I did find the subject itself very interesting, and I learnt a lot through reading around the subject. I've already have a background knowledge on the repair phases and veterinary and physiotherapy treatments, but it was very interesting to link these two together. I can use this in the future as a learning tool and a revision tool, as studies have found that writing out research is an effective way to learn and retain information. In the future, I always get a few people to read through my assignments. Many researchers found that reading through from another person's perspective is very useful to highlight any written mistakes, as well as continuing to talk to my peers and lecturers about any concerns I have. Doing this tricky assignment has made me feel more confident with future assignments, as I've learnt how to correctly structure and word my work, as well as learning to persevere with it. I was very fortunate to be invited to the World Horse Welfare Conference in 2017. I've always watched online, but due to being the head girl at an equine welfare charity, I actually got to go this year. The subject was on the invisible horse, focusing on what happens to horses in between different homes, horses on their way to slaughter, and all the horses abroad in underdeveloped countries. A very main and good point that was raised was no one ever wants to harm or impact on the horse's welfare, but mainly in the UK people aren't aware or have the knowledge to do right by the horse. In less developed countries, people also don't have the funds or sources to look after these animals in the same ways we could. More needs to be done in assuring correct information is out there for owners, and owners not to be set in their ways. Research is always changing, and we are finding out more and more about horses every day. Therefore, everyone needs to have an open mind. This conference was extremely interesting and raised a lot of valid points. I felt I've come away knowing a lot more about global equine welfare issues, as well as questioning my own area of interest. Through my job, I also get to go to the TTT. This is Training the Teachers of Tomorrow, which is a charity which purpose has been to provide top-level training to those who not otherwise access it, and thereby give a firm foundation so the instructor members will be equipped to teach with greater clarity and authority further afield. I'm very lucky to be able to take horses to this organisation over a period of 2 days to better my riding and get better results from the horse. This is a very reflective experience. On the first day, the teacher gets to know you as a rider and the horse and current goals you're working towards. We then have a discussion later that evening where all the riders meet up and reflect on how the lessons went and what we want to achieve by the second lesson and future goals. The second day is working through and getting some real achievements. I personally learned so much about my riding and my horse over these 2 days. I go away with a better understanding and goals to work towards until the next training session. As a veterinary and physiotherapist student, riding is an important factor, and to be able to feel the horse underneath me and understand the way they feel, and what exercise or even veterinarian help they may need. On Wednesday the 4th of October, the Royal Veterinary College held a lecture on neurological conditions in the horse. As I knew little on neurological conditions, I decided this would be a great opportunity for me to go. The lecture highlighted the differences between lameness and neurological problems in the horse. They then went on to describe ways to diagnose and treat and how these neurological conditions occur. They covered a lot of anatomy on the spinal process and the nervous system. This is very relevant for the veterinary physiotherapy course. I came away with a better understanding of how the nervous system worked in relation to the anatomical structure of the horse, as well as how neurological problems could lead to muscle wastage, tensing, shivering or trembling, which I'll have to be confident to recognise when fully qualified. The lecture was very interesting and they used a lot of videos to explain, which I find the best as I'm a very visual learner. However, I soon came to realise that my note-taking isn't up to scratch, as I was forever trying to keep up. This is something I need to improve on so I don't miss out. Overall, I found this experience extremely helpful and will be looking out for the next Royal Veterinary College lecture.